Hi, welcome to Art Chats with La Mitotera. I'm your host, Mel Dominguez. Today's guest is Rogue. She's a graffiti artist. She's participated in our shows at Galeria Mitotera for the Indigenous show and for our train spotting event, which is super cool. She's been a vendor at our Mercadito. What's up, bro?
So,
How are you? So everybody online right now, this is Rogue, my guest artist. Where are you from?
so I'm from Tucson. I'm from the village of Wak, which is located in the Sanavir district on the Tonatom Nation. So that's just south of Tucson.
Oh man,
Born and raised.
that's beautiful. I'm like every year that I stay here, I get to learn so much more about folks. But you're also a graffiti artist.
Mhm.
Tell us about that. Like, how did you get into that?
Well, I've been an artist ever since I was a kid, and I'm the type of artist that just tries everything.
Yeah.
So in high school, I did a lot of like pencil drawing and like acrylic painting, and then I had like this area in the back of my cousin's house that she was like, she's like, you can do whatever you want on these boards. So I would just start painting. So that's kind of how I started like spray painting. But I didn't go so far into depth as to like creating like real in-depth imagery and stuff. It was just a lot of more like tagging and like, writing letters and stuff like that. Um, and then after I graduated high school, I went to ASU because I wanted to get out of Tucson. It's like, I need to get out of here. Um, and then I just kind of stopped doing that and went more into like digital stuff.
Wow.
So, because that was the time when all the like digital art was coming up. In high school, I had this art teacher. Her name was Brenda Semanek, and she passed away this past year. But she
Okay.
was like the best art teacher, like out of even going to college, like she was the best art teacher I ever had. And she would let me like um, just play around with like Flash when the Flash was just kind of getting more in depth, and like she just like let me go and just do my own tutorials and stuff like that. So I started getting into digital art. So I was like, oh, this is cool. So when I went to the U of A, to ASU, that's what I kind of transitioned into. But it was kind of a little detrimental because I stopped like actually drawing, like with, like doing physical art with like the pencil or paint or whatever. And I just kind of like completely just went into digital.
The sensation's
Um,
gone, right? Like you want to paint and feel it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was different. It was different. We did do. It was required to do like the life drawing and stuff like that, and but the majority of it was digital, and I ended up not liking it. I still do a lot of digital art right now, but I didn't like the way that everything kind of was going over there, so I ended up transferring back over here, and I went to the U of A. So I graduated from the U of A.
Oh hell yeah, that's
Yeah,
dope, man.
but as far as graffiti, sorry, it kind of like went off because I feel like I've lived all kinds of lives
Yeah.
and done like all these different things. Um, but after let's see,
Well, folks that don't know,
so that
you actually do caricatures for events and stuff like that.
yeah. So then after I graduated the U of A, sorry, my daughter's right here. Yes.
What's up,
You want to sit with
Jane?
me? Okay, she wants to sit with me.
Yeah, hell yeah. So Rose's a
Like
mom
every time I
too.
get on Zoom meetings or like any sort of live thing, she wants to sit with me. I was trying to like set her up with something, but
What's up? Hi.
um
Remember me?
that's Mel. Remember? Remember her gallery? They have that big bike. You guys
Oh
go, yeah.
yeah. Remember I was in the sky? Oh. No,
um
I thought that was really amazing because to do there's some people that just really stick to one medium or one style, and the fact that you go in and that you can actually be at an event and draw people, and I mean it's good. Like, how did you get that down?
will you take this down? Put that down, George.
Oh, George is there. What's up, George?
You know, they both, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get on a call. You go play your video game. You go play with your water over there. I thought I had them all set up.
And it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. What's up,
Um,
George?
so,
Yeah.
so, so caricatures. I had so my ex was a caricature artist at Disneyland,
Mm.
and so I wanted to learn how to do it too. So I decided to do the training, and so I did the training over there and learned how to do it. And then me and him kind of had like a falling out, like during that time. So I ended up not getting that job. Um, but I learned how to do it. So
No. Well,
I just kept on practicing. I just kept on practicing. And then when I came back to Tucson, that was in California, obviously, Disneyland. I was living over there. And then when I came back to Tucson, I just kept doing it because when we were there, so okay, I learned it. We broke up. We got back together. And then I stayed over there and we did that for like almost 2 years. Just doing caricatures at like swap meets, farmers markets, parties, and stuff like that. And then when I came back home, when we broke up, like I just continued doing it over here, like right away. I was like, okay, this is something I can do that I can do right away. Like even if I don't have a job here, at least I can do that. So that was in 2013 that I came back. I just kept doing it, and then that's kind of how I got back into painting. One of my friends was setting up at a neoglyphics event, which I didn't know what it was. It was the first one. And my friend was like, yo, you should set up at this event tomorrow. I was like, oh, okay. And then my uncle, who was a student at the U of A, and he was with the Tonatham Student Association, he told me too. He's like, hey, talk to Martina, come set up tomorrow. So I was like, okay, I guess I should do this thing. So I did. I hit her up and she's like, yeah, I'll set up. So I set up my caricature booth and stuff, and then ever since then, like just kind of started helping out with neoglyphics, and then I was just watching them paint, and I'm like, man, I want to paint, you know. So I just started painting, and I started watching them and seeing how they did their like shading and stuff like that, and so I just started doing it, and I feel like, you know, when you're an artist and you do different things, like, and you learn a new medium, all the knowledge that you have from like whatever else you've done transfers onto that. Now you got to really learn is like the techniques, you know. So like I feel like I caught on really fast, and also because I kind of did it like in high school, but that was like, you know, 10 years before. And then just kept doing it, and then my friend Knox, he would hit me up because there were always things happening in Santa Vera, and so you know, he wanted people from the community to do these events, so he would hit me up and just like have me do the events like the Unity Run, the Unity Benefit Run, or the Tonatham Car Show, the Santa Vera Car Show.
Not as cool as hell, man.
Yeah, and so I did. I was like, you know what, I'll do it. You know, even though I wasn't like super like used to it, but I really liked that because it forced me to like get out of my comfort zone and like do those things in like a short amount of time, with people watching, you know, like, and I mean, I'm kind of used to that because with caricatures, but yeah, so
It's different. I always see you hustling though, man. Every time I see him, I'm like, man, she's painting over here, she's doing characters, or you're vending. I'm like, damn, what? I admire that because you actually went and did stickers.
yeah, and so that I just started within the past year. And I've been wanting to do those for so long. Like I'm like, man, I can make stickers out of caricatures, and that's one thing that I really like that doing the events like forced me to do was like, all right, I'm gonna paint. I have these ideas that I've had for a long time, and then I pick one and I make it happen that day, and then I can make a sticker off that. You know, I could like, so for example, I have all my stickers right here. So there's this one which started off as a painting.
Yeah.
So you have these stickers, and then I have this one that also started off as a painting. This is in Barrio Centro with flowers and bullets. The saguaro fruit. part. But yeah, most of these stuff started off with just like images that I did in an event. So.
And then that's really cool because I mean, people right now, they're looking at a woman, the entrepreneur, artist, your mom, like you're doing all these things, and you actually take note at what's at your vending table. You're like, oh, I'm gonna do this. Like, if you know, people like this, I'm gonna make a sticker out of it. I think that's cool. Like, because some people just they get stuck, you know. And I like the fact that I get to see your progression and how you're growing as an artist, you know. But out for the folks who are out there, what is the thing that fires you up, that inspires you to do the type of artwork that you create?
I guess one thing that inspires me are kids.
Yeah.
Like, you know, doing caricatures. I do a lot of birthday parties. I do a lot of events like in Sanavir. And what's really cool about doing events there is that once they find out like that I'm from their community and that I went to the schools that they went to or the schools that they're going to, they're just so like mind blown, like, oh my gosh, you're from here, you're like us, you know, like you like, and so it's just, and then they just bombard me with questions and then they show me what, you know, their art, if they have a picture like on their phone, or they're like, oh, I'm an artist, you know. And I just think like, man, like thinking back when I was a kid, I didn't have a lot of you know, imagery and stuff like that, and people that I knew that did art, let alone in my own community. So that's one thing that like really inspires me. And then the kids now, seeing them and how they see what I do, and they want to do it. They want to draw. You know, like I give him the little priority mail labels, and he just always wants to like draw on those. And he sticks them in this little slap book that he made. We did a workshop at Tucson Museum of Art.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And Lady Rise did a demo on how to make a black book like your own. So you just build it yourself. And so before anybody got there, she was setting up, and so she was like, "Hey, George, you want to make a black book?" So she helped him, and he did it. She just kind of directed him how to make it, and ever since then, he's like, "Oh, my black book," you know. And so so it's filled up now, but he always wants to like put stickers in there and draw. It's really cool.
See,
so
that's how I feel. Like it's about belonging and having that memory, you know, like you made something, like it's like authentic, you know, something you can actually hold on to. That's what I dig about it, exactly. You know, right?
Yeah, so that, and then also for me, it's just, for me, I'm an introvert. So I, like, if I'm not forced to go to an event, or I'm not forced to like mingle with people, I tend to really like become withdrawn, and like I don't necessarily like, I'm not like a hermit, because I like to go out and do things, but I do a lot of stuff by myself. Like I will go to the movies by myself, I will go for a drive, I'll go up to the mountain, I'll go to the park. Like I just do so many things alone. It's like my, like, you know, quiet time. But I also really enjoy being around people. So but then sometimes it becomes too much.
Yeah.
And so I feel like people think because you're a public artist and you're just so out there, that you're more extroverted and you're more, you know, because when I'm out doing events, I'm very vocal, you know, I talk to people, you know, but it's easy to talk about art. When it comes to other things, like I'm just kind of like
Right. Can you tell us what Flowers and Bullets is about?
I know I always have like a hard time with the spiel, like there's, you know, this thing that we tell everybody. But it's basically an art and sustainability collective. I feel like it's changed throughout the years. But what? I don't know. Sorry.
That's good. Multitasking.
Oh, you want to play the Lego game? You gotta find it's up there on the top. Bring me those. So. Sorry, what was the question?
Like Flowers and Bullets. Before I didn't know where they were located, but then I know that they have, I think it's called Keene Elementary.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, the school. So when I started, we didn't have the farm. When I started with Flowers and Bullets, um, so we were doing a lot more events, uh, selling merch, because it's a art and sustainability collective. We did a lot of clothing, like a lot of shirts, logos, and
You're wearing
stickers
your
and
hat.
stuff like that. Presentations, talking about like how to create your own garden, and a lot of it was them actually like going in the neighborhood and showing residents how to maintain their own stuff and grow their own things so that they didn't have to necessarily like right now have to go to the grocery store when like there was nothing around. So little did we know it was gonna happen so soon. But so different things like that. And then it came about that the Julia Keene site, which was the school, was closed because of the flight path for the Davis Monthan Air Force Base. They closed it, and that was like their hub, where they would go to vote, where they would go for community events and things like that. And so that was closed, and so that just like ended. And then I guess Penske, which is the company is like right behind it,
Yeah.
they wanted to buy it. And once Flowers and Bullets like got wind of that, they're like, no, we don't want that to be a giant parking lot in the middle of the neighborhood. Like literally, it's in the middle of the neighborhood, and it was just gonna be demolished and like paved over. So they're like, no, no, like we don't want that. Like here's an alternative, because there wasn't much you could do with that space because of all the restrictions of it having the flight path over it. So they're like, okay, well, one thing we can do is agriculture. So they're like, we want to turn it into a farm. And so they took it up and they presented it to, they got created a proposal, or I keep saying we created a proposal to turn it into a farm, and we ended up winning. So that was really cool. We have a little video about when that happened. It's pretty dope if you go to the website.
That's a perfect example in the middle of a neighborhood to show social equity. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To take over space and to give it life right now. So I think the work that's being done there is really amazing, because they also did a plant sale recently.
Yeah, we just did a plant sale. Yeah, we sold out like early. We had to cancel the last day because we were all out. But we're also doing we're doing some zines right now, so we have like all the content. We're just putting it together. We're trying to do a coloring book with images from all the artists. So that should be coming out. So we're gonna be handing out some packages to the neighborhood.
This is a COVID-19 kit, right? That you're.
Yeah, COVID-19 kit. Yeah, so there's gonna be like a mask and hand sanitizer and things like that for the people in the neighborhood. And then we want to have the zine in there as well, one of them.
That is so cool, you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? But all the things that are going on in the world, to know that the community's coming together that way, that's huge.
With neoglyphics, we did some coloring pages, so those are available right now. If you wanted to go to the site, again, I keep forgetting if it's neoglyphics.org or .net.
How does everybody get to see your art? Like, what's your Instagram handle, and like, how can they buy art from you?
So my Instagram is Rogue Tucson Art. So ROGUE Tucson Art. On Facebook, it's Rogue Tucson Art and Design. I also just set up a big cartel, so you could go and like purchase my stickers and stuff. I'm still uploading things to it, but again, I can send that link. There's some things on it already. I just haven't posted the link yet, because I have all these things still. I have buttons.
Oh, they're so cool.
Buttons. Got some prints.
Look at that. That's yum.
So I'll be updating that and like slowly just adding things to it. And then, yeah, so those are the two main things,
So I know that everybody's kind of on lockdown right now because of the quarantine. But what is the future? What do you, are you doing any future projects? Are you working on anything other than the kits right now, the coloring books? Are you gonna do something more?
Those are the main things. I mean, I'm doing my own like small things. I have like some earrings in the process.
Ooh, yeah.
um, I'm also working on trying to finish my baskets.
Ooh, I was looking at that. I was wondering that you
Yeah.
did that?
Yeah.
Oh my
So I'm trying to
God.
finish these guys. Again, I like to do so many different things that like I'll do a bunch at a time and then I'll like move to something else and then I'll forget.
That is so cool. This is like, you know what? I hope that we can do like a virtual tour of anything that like any of your art or something sometime so we can get people to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
how you work and things. Because if they didn't see you in person, I mean, I'm missing it right now. Oh, can you tell folks what the neoglyphics is? Because a lot of people out there still don't know who they are.
Okay. So Neoglyphics were all indigenous aerosol art collective. So we're all from different tribes, um, from mostly the southwest area, and then there's a few of us from scattered across the U.S. But the majority of us are like in this area, and we so it started off as a like an event where all these artists came together and just painted in one day. And then that show stayed up and it was at the U of A. It stayed up for a month at a time. So each time we did it, it was up for a month at the U of A. Um, and then we broke off from the U of A and became our own thing. And then we would do our own events. But for the most part, we go and we do a lot of workshops. We do workshops with kids. Um, we do murals, all across
You weren't
all
kidding.
kinds of different areas.
Yeah, you weren't kidding when you said you do it all, man. I'm like, damn. Man, you stay busy. That's crazy. If there was any of the artists out there listening, what kind of advice would you give them? What would you, well, if there was somebody out there looking for advice, what would you tell them?
Um, Advice, let's see. Well, I mean, I guess if you're like starting out, I've found that some of the like best things you can do is just do it. Like when I started caricatures, um, we like went to a swap meet, had nothing, like not a regular set. Well, we had was like a couple of chairs and some copy paper in this big swap meet space. Can you imagine just a chair, another chair, and like a notebook? And we charged $5. Like we didn't have no like setup or nothing. Like you see these caricature artists at Disneyland and different places, and they have all their examples and they have all these things. Like I started with nothing. It was just copy. People bought it. So all you got to do is just try different things. If one thing doesn't work, try something else. Um, but what I've found worked the best for me is like networking. Um, if you want to get into being a part of an event, then get to know those people, like just attend the events first. Go and make your face known, and then they're gonna recognize you, like I'm sure people go into your gallery when they keep coming, you start to know their faces and recognize them, and you're like, oh, okay, and then all of a sudden, oh, you're an artist too? Well, hey,
Yeah,
I
that,
have a
yeah.
space for you, or hey, you want to come sit up at our market?
Yeah.
So that's like the biggest thing that I've learned is just being active in, even if you're not putting your art out there or like setting up or like doing it in that way because maybe you're unsure, just going to events. I know right now we really can't do that, but like we can attend like these. We
Yeah.
can attend meetings. We could attend Instagram, make comments, comment on people's art, and then people will recognize your name. So like once, and I feel like that's like one of the biggest things that's helped me is like just being present
Yeah.
and then getting to know people, and then it's like, oh, you have this skill.
I love it.
So
Yeah, no, no, no. That's absolutely right. And I love it because it came from you. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is awesome. I'm glad you did this interview. People need to see who you are and what you're doing out there. It's been, I don't know. I feel like we can talk a lot more about a bunch of stuff, but I'm like, it's postponed, and we'll come back to that. I hope to have you on again. If that's a possibility. Maybe we could do a virtual tour or something of your art studio.
Yeah.
Would that be cool? Hell yeah. Oh, man. Well, I want to thank you so much again for making time for me and doing all this. I hope you had a special Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
I did. I ended up painting. It was like unexpected. I was driving home from a family member's house, and I passed this wall that we paint a lot, and I saw one of my friends there and a couple of people painting, and I was like, oh, who's here, you know? And so I drove up and I was like, hey, and then I seen them like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, oh, we're painting our mom's names for Mother's Day. And I was like, oh, that's so dope. I was like, and so they had this like blank spot. It was like, you know, a little spot, and I'm like, my mom's name's not gonna fit right there, because my mom's name's like 8 letters long. I was like, you know, I was like, well, what if I put like a character? But this is just me in my head. I didn't even ask. I was like, hey, is anybody painting right here? You know, like, so ended up painting on Mother's Day, so that was fun. I really needed that. I'd been like wanting to paint for a while, and it's, you know, like I've been just staying home for the most part unless I have to leave. So like, and I don't live somewhere right now where I can just go into my backyard and paint. And I have the kids, so I can't just leave. So I've been like fiending to paint, and so it was just like it was a perfect
I know
end to the day.
Right? The perfect outlet. I'm like, damn it, I think I know what you're talking about. That's super cool. Like,
yeah.
And that's what you know what? That's what I appreciate about the graffiti art, is that it reminds me there's somebody out there. I felt like there's a human and there's a story, and that's why I'm like agreed to this interview stuff. I'm like, I get shy myself. I know people are like, no, you're not shy. But I get shy too, and I'm like, oh, what? Yeah. But I miss this. I miss talking to people. I miss running into George and Jane and be like, what's up, guys? And, you know, I miss all that stuff. I miss all the energy and the action that you folks bring to the you know, to every situation. So I hope everybody finds it. Flowersandbullets.org, at neoglyphics.org, and Rogue Tucson Art. Yeah, look at, there's Woody. What's up? Oh, man. See, the adventure of motherhood. You can't beat it. But thank you again, guys. Maybe we'll hang out when all this is done.
For sure.
All right.
Sure. Yeah, I can't wait till we can do an event again. Those are so fun.
Right? Oh, it's going to happen.
Bye.
Bye, you guys. It was good talking to you.
You too.
Bye. Bye, Gigi.
All right.